Welcome to Norway Perspectives, the essential guide for navigating your new life in the north, brought to you by Norway Relocation Group. Today, we're dedicating our entire episode to a topic that appears deceptively simple on a newcomer's checklist, yet it forms the absolute bedrock of your entire existence here. It's a process that, when misunderstood or incomplete, triggers a cascade of legal, financial, and intensely personal complications for thousands of well-intentioned newcomers every single year. That topic is registration. In Norway, a country renowned for its efficiency and digital-first society, registration isn't just a piece of administrative paperwork. It is the fundamental act of plugging yourself into the nation's operating system. Think of it as acquiring the master digital and legal key that unlocks every single door. Without completing this process correctly, you are not just a visitor. In the eyes of the state's interconnected systems, you are practically invisible, a ghost in the machine. This single, multi-step process is the golden thread that connects you to every facet of life in Norway. It's how you are issued your permanent national identity number, the 11-digit code that will follow you for life and is required for almost every significant transaction. It secures your legal right to work and, just as importantly, your ability to receive a salary correctly and on time. It grants you full and proper access to Norway's world-class public healthcare system, including the right to a dedicated primary care physician. It's the gateway to receiving crucial social benefits, such as paid parental leave, monthly child benefits, or unemployment support, should you ever need it. It makes possible the simple but essential task of opening a Norwegian bank account and obtaining BankID, the country's universal digital signature. It establishes your residency for your democratic right to vote in municipal elections. It's the vital process for registering your spouse and children, ensuring they are also recognized by the state and granted the same access and rights. It ensures you are filing your taxes correctly from day one, avoiding the shock of punitive emergency tax rates. And most critically for your long-term plans, it is what builds the continuous, unbroken chain of residency required to successfully apply for a permanent residence permit and eventual citizenship. But here is the fundamental problem, the hidden reef on which so many newcomers' journeys founder. The process is not linear, nor is it centralized. Many people misunderstand the required sequence of when to do something, how to do it, and with which government agency. Others diligently complete one or two steps, breathe a sigh of relief believing they are finished, only to suffer severe consequences months or even years down the line, often without a clue as to what went wrong. In this comprehensive episode, we will demystify this bureaucratic maze. We'll explain the complete step-by-step process of registering your move to Norway, from the Immigration Directorate to the tax administration and the local police. Exactly what documents are required, why each one is critical, and the precise standards they must meet. The domino effect of problems that occurs if you delay registration or perform the steps out of order. Why registration errors will lock you out of essential digital portals like Helsenorge, your personal health portal, and Digipost, your secure digital mailbox for all official government communication. How your employer, your family, and your long-term immigration status are all directly and immediately impacted by this one foundational process. And most importantly, we'll provide a clear, actionable guide on how to audit your own status and fix these problems if you've already made a mistake. Let's begin with a narrative we at Norway Relocation Group see play out almost every single day. Imagine this. After months of applications and anxious waiting, you finally received the email confirming your residence permit from the UDI, the Norwegian Directorate of Immigration, is approved. You pack your life into suitcases, say your goodbyes, and move to this stunningly beautiful country. You find an apartment, sign the lease, and proudly walk into your new office on the first day of work, ready to begin your Norwegian dream. Everything feels perfect. The air is clean, the future is bright. But then, the quiet, systemic frictions begin. You walk into a bank, confident and prepared to open an account for your salary. The friendly bank employee reviews your passport and your letter from the immigration authorities. They then deliver the first blow. I'm sorry, but to comply with anti-money laundering regulations and to issue you a BankID, Our systems require a permanent Norwegian national identity number. We cannot proceed without it. You don't have one. Don't. Your first payday comes and goes, but your bank account remains empty. You receive a call from your new employer's HR department. They sound sympathetic but are firm. We are legally unable to process your salary correctly without an active tax card. The system requires your permanent ID number to retrieve that card from the tax administration. Until then, any salary we pay out would be subject to a mandatory 50% emergency tax deduction, and we still couldn't register you properly. You catch the inevitable first winter cold and try to find a family doctor, known here as a fastledge. You go to the Helsenorge portal, the national health website, but when you try to log in, you're met with an error message, user not found. The system has no record of you, meaning you have no right to a primary care physician. Your only options are expensive private clinics or the public emergency room, which is reserved for urgent medical needs. Months later, you learn you missed a critical follow-up letter from the immigration authorities or the tax office. It was sent to your official digital mailbox, a service like Digipost, which you were never able to set up because that too requires a permanent ID number and BankID. You apply for the monthly child benefit, barnetrygd, a universal benefit you were counting on to help with expenses. The application is rejected. The reason? Your children and your address are not officially registered in the National Population Register, so from the state's perspective, they don't officially live here. 3 years later, you apply for a permanent residence permit, feeling confident you've met the requirements. The application is denied. The devastating reason: your legal residence wasn't fully registered from day one. There is a 3-month gap in the official record at the beginning of your stay, which breaks the requirement for continuous residence and disqualifies your entire application. All of this stress, financial loss, and legal jeopardy stems from a single source: an incomplete, incorrect, or delayed registration process. So let's break it down properly, step by step. Step 1. Understanding that legal entry is not legal residence. This is the first and most critical mental shift every newcomer must make. Many logically believe that once their UDI residence permit is approved, the process is complete. This is false. The UDI permit is merely your permission to enter and reside. It is not the activation of your residence. Your legal registered residence in Norway truly begins only when you have formally reported your arrival and had your identity verified by the correct authorities on Norwegian soil. This is a multi-stage process involving distinct government bodies that do not always talk to each other automatically. You are the project manager of your own integration. Let's clarify who does what. The Norwegian Directorate of Immigration, UDI. Think of them as the gatekeepers. They review your application and grant you the right to move to Norway for work, study, or family. Their primary job is finished once they issue that permit. The police, politi, they are the identity verifiers. For non-EU citizens, the police are responsible for confirming your physical arrival, checking your passport against your permit, and issuing your physical residence permit card. For EU citizens, they verify your basis for residence, e.g., your employment contract. This often happens at a specialized service center for foreign workers, SUA, which combines services from the police, the tax office, and the labor inspection authority. The Norwegian Tax Administration, Skatteetaten. This is the central nervous system of your life in Norway. After your arrival, this is your most important stop. They manage 2 critical systems: the tax system and, most importantly, the National Population Register, Folkeregisteret. This register is the single authoritative master database of who lives in Norway and where. The tax administration is the agency that issues your ID number. Unless you proactively and correctly engage with all required agencies, your presence in Norway remains in a state of administrative limbo. Let's move to the single biggest point of failure in this process. Mistake number 1, not registering correctly with the tax administration. After your arrival, one of your first and most urgent tasks is to book an appointment for an ID check at a local tax office. It is at this appointment that you formally report your move to Norway, register your residential address, and apply for your all-important personal identity number. Here, it is vital to understand the two types of numbers you might be issued. A D number, temporary ID. This is a temporary identification number. It is often issued to people who will be in Norway for less than 6 months, or as a temporary placeholder while an application for a permanent number is being processed. A D number is better than nothing. It allows for a tax card to be issued, but it is a guest pass with limitations. It may not grant you full access to all banking services or establish long-term residency rights. A national identity number, permanent ID. This is the prize. This is the 11-digit number assigned for life to anyone who can document their intention to reside in Norway for more than 6 months. This is the master key that fully integrates you into Norwegian society. Your primary goal is to secure this permanent number. To do this correctly, you must attend a physical appointment, which can have weeks-long waiting lists, so book it early, and bring a precise portfolio of documents, your passport and copies, your valid residence permit card, if you have it, or the original UDI decision letter, a formal signed lease agreement for your housing. This is a common failure point. The contract must be formal, not a casual note. It must have a duration of at least several months, and it must be for a dwelling that is registered as an official residential unit. An unapproved sublet or a long-term Airbnb stay may not be accepted. Your signed employment contract proving your financial self-sufficiency. A completed application form for moving to Norway. If your documentation is incomplete or inconsistent, your application can be rejected on the spot, sending you to the back of the line to book a new appointment, potentially delaying your integration by months. Mistake number 2, missing your mandatory police registration. If you are a non-EU EEA citizen, your UDI permit letter will explicitly state that you must book an appointment with the police to order your residence card. This is not a suggestion, it is a mandatory step to finalize your immigration status. If you don't attend this appointment within the specified time frame, the immigration authorities can legally assume you never arrived in Norway, and your hard-won residence permit can be cancelled. EU EEA citizens have a different but equally critical process. You must register online through the UDI portal and then attend an appointment to present your documents, primarily your employment contract or proof of sufficient funds. This isn't just a formality, it's a verification step. Failure to complete it means your stay is not officially recorded, which can create enormous problems when you later need to prove the length of your residence in Norway. Mistake number 3, failing to formally register and update your address. In Norway, your official address is not set when you sign a lease or receive mail. You must formally report your move to the National Population Register, which, as we mentioned, is managed by the tax administration. This is usually done during your initial registration at the tax office. However, and this is critical, if you later move to a new apartment, you are legally required to report the change of address within 8 days. Failure to maintain a continuously accurate registered address is a silent killer of long-term plans. It can affect where official, time-sensitive letters are sent. Imagine the immigration authorities sending your permanent residency renewal notice to an old address. You miss the deadline. Your legal stay could be jeopardized, all because of a failure to update a simple form. Your child's designated public school and your access to local kindergarten spots. Your right to vote in local elections, which is tied to your registered municipality, your eligibility for various municipal services and benefits. We have seen cases where people are denied permanent residency because of a 2-month gap in their address history 5 years ago. From the system's perspective, they didn't exist in Norway during that time, breaking the chain of continuous residence. What about families? It's a multi-person project. If you are moving with your spouse or children, the complexity multiplies. Each person must be registered individually. A family is not a single unit in this process. It is a collection of individuals who each need their own legal identity. You must understand the concept of chain registration. The main applicant, the person with the work permit, must typically be fully registered and have their permanent ID number issued before dependent family members can be fully processed. This often creates unexpected delays. For the family's appointment, you will need each family member's individual permit or UDI approval letter. Housing documentation proving you have adequate space for the entire family. Original birth and marriage certificates. Here is a crucial piece of advice. These documents almost always need to be apostilled or formally legalized in your home country. This is an official certification that verifies the document's authenticity. This must be done before you come to Norway. Trying to arrange it from abroad is a logistical nightmare. They will also need to be translated by a state-authorized translator. Proof of the entire family's arrival in Norway. Failing to properly register a spouse or child means they are cut off from society. They cannot get a doctor. You cannot receive family-related benefits. And most importantly, their clock for permanent residency and citizenship does not start ticking. How do you fix registration mistakes? A personal status audit. If you're watching this and a sense of dread is creeping in, take a breath. It is often possible to correct these issues, but you must act with precision and urgency. Conduct a personal registration audit. Start with the tax administration. Go to the website of the Norwegian tax administration, Skatteetaten.no. Can you log in? If so, navigate to Min side, my page. What does it say? Critically, check your registered address and see what kind of ID number is listed for you. Is it a temporary D number or a permanent 11-digit national identity number? Verify your address. If your address is wrong in the National Population Register, file a change of address form immediately. This can be done online if you have electronic ID. Check your immigration status. If you are non-EU and suspect you missed your police appointment, contact the police's immigration office immediately. Explain the situation politely and seek to book a new appointment. Audit your digital mailbox. If you have access to a digital mailbox like Digipost or e-box, log in and check for any unread official messages. If you were never able to set one up, this is a major red flag that your registration is incomplete. Talk to your bank and employer. Call your bank and your company's HR department. Confirm which ID number they have on file for you. Ensure your tax card is active and correct. Confirm family status. If you have children, call your local health station, Helsenorge, or the municipality, commune office to verify that your children are correctly registered in their systems. Document everything. Be persistent, but always polite with the agencies. Document who you spoke to and when. Follow up with questions in writing using their official contact forms to create a paper trail. Final thoughts. Registration in Norway is far more than a bureaucratic formality. It is your legal anchor. It is the digital and structural foundation upon which you will build your new life. Failing to do it, or doing it incorrectly, is not a minor inconvenience. It directly impacts your income, your family's well-being, your access to healthcare, your legal rights, and your long-term future in this country. The Norwegian system is built on trust, but it is also built on the assumption that you have followed the correct procedures. If you haven't, the consequences, unfortunately, fall on you. But once you navigate this process correctly, everything else becomes smoother. Your taxes, your bank, your doctor, your school, your future, it all clicks into place. If you need professional help to pre-check your documents and ensure your tax administration appointment is successful the first time, or if you need to fix existing problems, Norway Relocation Group specializes in guiding newcomers through this exact process. And if you're finding that the language barrier itself is the biggest hurdle in your appointments, and with official forms, our sister company, NLS Norwegian Language School, offers practical language courses designed specifically for these real-life challenges. Visit https, Norway Relocation, Know for Expert, Hands-on Relocation Support, or https, NLS Norwegian, Know to start learning the language you need for the life you want to build. Thanks for watching Norway Perspectives. Subscribe for more in-depth episodes designed to help you avoid costly mistakes and build a stable, legal, and confident life in your new home, Norway.